The Los Angeles Rams won the NFC West and made a deep playoff run, barely losing to the Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round at home. The team made tremendous strides throughout the season, especially to battling injuries and come out on top. It's only going to give them more momentum going into 2025. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down what you Rams fans can expect the team to do in the 2025 offseason. But before we do that, if you like the work that the Trades Take puts out and want to help the channel grow, easiest way is tackling that subscribe button, smashing that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And while you're at it, leave a like and a comment. Let us know what you want to see the Rams do this offseason. And Ryan, let's pull it up here. So some of these numbers are a little bit misleading, just for both, honestly, offensive and defensive. Is the team started off slow? Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of affected some of the stats. But second half of the year, this is one of the top teams in the NFL. Even to those defensive numbers as well, the defense improved tremendously. They really need to address the secondary, absolutely. But at the same time, though, too, you go look at that front seven. Like there's a lot of talk between Jared Verse and Philadelphia Eagles fans, and he backed it up. And that front
Oh,
seven really backed it up in Los Angeles. And so obviously, they didn't end up getting the win there. That being said, I think if it didn't snow, I think it would have been maybe a different outcome in that crazy type of game. But this Rams team, Sean McVay has once again drafted extremely well. The whole organization drafted really well, and he's one of the best coaches in the league. And as of this recording today, January 29th, does seem like Matt Stafford's coming back for another year. Looks like he's won a new contract to maybe a couple more years after that as well. So, Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. What were your overall thoughts on the Rams in 2024, and what are some of the key areas you think they need to improve on in the 2025 offseason to maybe make a deeper run?
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is just going to be consistency early on in the season. I think that these numbers, like you said, are fairly misleading. Offensively, I felt like they had a better passing attack. Maybe they need to improve in the running game a little bit. But with that being said, they are such an efficient passing team, and they get the ball in the hands of their playmakers so well that even though they're not the greatest rushing team, they also are, I believe, run a much higher pass percentage than a lot of other teams in the NFL. So they aren't a great running team, but there is a little bit of a cause for that as well.
Yeah.
But defensively too, I think Cameron Kitchens was a little bit, I don't say an unsung hero on the back end of this defense, but just somebody like everybody focuses on how good of a season Braden Fiske has. He's probably the defensive rookie of the year. And so for me, like not Braden Fiske, Jared Verse, Braden Fiske had also a phenomenal season. Cameron Kitchens, another defensive rookie that had a phenomenal season as well. So if they can get some cornerback help in that on that defense, which this is a really good cornerback free agency class. And there's also some good corners in this draft, and we can talk about them a little bit later. But with this defense, the way it's set up, they could go out and get a Trey Amos and then a Charvarius Ward or a DJ Reed, or trying to think of another one, but
Yeah.
and then go Eric Stokes from Green Bay, and then they can flip this cornerback room around really easily. Go look at what Detroit did. They had one of the worst ranked secondaries in the league 2 seasons ago. They went out, they spent 3 or 4 major assets on it, and it improved drastically throughout the season.
Yeah.
Now they got banged up with injuries, but
Well,
besides the point.
and just to your point, just about like on how young they are. Like so, Jared Verse, he was born in 2000, so he's 24. He got drafted last year. Braden Fiske, same thing, drafted last year, about the same age. Cobie Turner, who they drafted the year before, is just
And
a year
Byron
older,
Young.
and Byron Young. And on PFF as of right now, in their nickel package, that's the starting defensive line. And you have Cameron
Yeah.
Kitchens and then Cameron Curl as well. So they need to address like cornerback, I think, for sure, maybe in the linebacker spot, but they're getting a very solid already foundation on this defensive side of the
Oh
ball
yeah.
here as well. And Matt Stafford, even though he's getting up there in age, is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. You've got your Cooper Kupp replacement in Puka Nacua. He's one of the best receivers in the league. And since I'm already looking at PFF for what it's worth, they have Puka Nacua as the number one ranked receiver. I know it's PFF, but still, it's like, and I think that's fair. Like when he's fully healthy, he seems just like a mismatch to everybody else in the league.
Well,
So
and then you put him in that system where Sean McVay can scheme up mismatches with the best of them in the league, and it's just so hard for him to be covered at at all times.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
It's just
So
a really good situation for them.
well, and even too, kind of as we were sticking on like how well they drafted, like talking about one of their key free agents, Alaric Jackson, left tackle. They drafted him, like so he's still on his rookie contract, so he is going to be expecting to get paid. I would think he's one of the better tackles in the league. But like, he's not the best, but I think he will probably get a decent chunk of money. And the Rams, they are at, as of this recording, just shy of 40 million in cap space, so they have some room to re-sign him. So I think that is very possible that they do that. And one of the other areas that I think they need to address, as we mentioned, are already is this the cornerback position as well. And now, kind of talking about and reviewing it, and we talk about Cameron Kitchens and Cameron Curl. I think they need new cornerbacks. I think another area defensively is address the linebacker position, just get a little bit better in that area here. And we have some guys like Christian Rosenbaum, Troy Reader. Those guys are going to be free agents. Do they want to bring them back, or do they want to go after some other guys like maybe a Levante David, who's more of a veteran? Maybe bring back Bobby Wagner if he'd want to leave Washington after the year he had. This is what's going to be interesting on the Rams, in my opinion, how they address and improve the free agency spot. Um, just to keep on improving with this young team and this young defense.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting. So they have the cap space. I don't know if Alaric Jackson gets tagged. I don't know if he's a top 5 tackle in the league. I would say he's an above average starter at the position, especially when he's fully healthy. So I don't know if he gets tagged or not.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see. But if he hits the open market, I could see him garnering 20 million, if not maybe a little bit more. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see if they balance or if they prioritize getting that secondary built up and then maybe drafting a tackle or signing another guy in free agency that's going to be a little bit cheaper there. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what they do with some of these free agents. They do need cornerback, just secondary as a whole, and then
Yeah.
offensive tackle are some of their needs. So
And this is what's going to be interesting for a lot of free agents who are, let's just say, above average.
yeah,
Who teams are gonna. There's gonna be some desire from teams. Is it's not like it's the sexiest draft class. You know what I mean? Where like we can go clearly find our replacement for this guy, or if there's a lot of other guys out there, like other left tackle, like you have Cam Robinson that's out there. Let me pull up my big sheet.
Jedrick Wills is another.
Yeah, but
Tackles are hard. A lot of those guys, a lot of those starting caliber guys, really hit free agency.
Yeah, I mean, you do have guys like Ronnie Stanley or Joseph Nobaum,
Yeah,
Tyron Smith or Patrick McCarry, but especially to a lot of those guys, names I just like are much older. DJ Humphries, I think would be an interesting one as he played a little bit of time with Kansas City and teams want to take a chance on him and he'll be cheaper. But once again, I think for Alaric Jackson,
yeah,
I think he's going to get paid. I think the Rams are not going to. They'll draft tackle probably or at least offensive lineman in the draft, especially too if we want to go to the next slide here on who some guys like they might want to go after. But I think they know Alaric Jackson. Alaric Jackson knows Los Angeles. I think Alaric
yeah,
Jackson has a lot of the leverage when it comes to uh, um, like negotiations with the Rams because, as we mentioned, Cam Robinson, DJ Humphries. But if they want to go and try and get a tackle, Kelvin Banks might be in that spot. Ariante Ursary might be in that spot as well. Gray Zabel's a guy that has risen up draft boards, but he's going to kick into guard more than likely. And so, and with Kelvin Banks and Ariante Ursary, there are some question marks. Like they're good,
yeah,
but it's not like Joe Alt level. Like this is almost a sure thing that this
yeah.
guy's going to
They
be.
have they're a little bit of projects.
Yeah,
Ariana territory more so than Calvin Banks, but
yeah,
uh, speaking of Calvin Banks is an interesting one. Jahdae Barron is a very versatile piece to kind of add to his secondary where he's played safety, slot, outside. So I think that's going to be interesting to kind of see where he ranks and falls in the draft process. Nick Eamon-Wari, he was like a 5-star linebacker recruit that kind of converted to safety. He's a massive safety. It plays at like 215, 220 pounds. So going to be interesting to kind of see if he can go to a place that could utilize his skill set well. Another guy, Darian Porter, really athletic corner out of Iowa State. I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of where he goes on day 2 because he's only been playing football or like corner, I believe, for 2 years. And
yeah.
he's already playing it at a really high level. So he has a really high ceiling. Another guy that I like day 2 is going to be Maxwell Hairston. He had some injury issues at Kentucky, but he's an elite athlete, and he's shown out at the Senior Bowl this week. So I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see where a lot of these guys land. And all in all, like you look, they have a decent bit of draft capital. They are lacking a second round pick. So potentially, if there's a team that wants to move up, this could be an opportunity to go and for them to move back, maybe acquire another third, move back into the early second. There are a lot of teams that are in the top like 8 to 10 picks in that second round that have some draft capital that could be looking to splurge. So they have a decent bit of draft capital. The Rams are notorious though for stockpiling on like those third and fourth, fifth round picks, and then making a bunch of selections, and then drafting Puka Nacuas and whatnot. So
the Colby Turners, the Byron Youngs.
I
actually wasn't even Cameron Curl like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
Alaric Jackson was a 6th round pick, and he's one of the top tackles in free agency.
Well, and he's about Cameron Curl was a 7th round pick. Alaric Jackson, to your point.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp was a 3rd round pick.
They Siva Vila was their pick. I think was one of their picks. Like they had like one of the first picks in the 2nd round of the 2023 draft, and he's turned into one of the best. Like when healthy, like he's a solid guard.
Oh yeah,
for them.
No, the Rams are one of the best drafting teams in the NFL. They probably have the most advanced analytics department, and just do such a good job of evaluating talent. So
oh yeah. I mean, when you go get Rob Havenstein in the 2nd round, which the 2nd round is still good value. Kevin Dotson in the 4th round. Who's this guy? Bo Limmer from like rookie from last year's class. Got him the 6th round, but I bet he's going to develop well. He's their, according to PFF, their lowest comparative like ranked offensive lineman starting as of right now. And I know it's PFF, but it just gives some sort of comparison. But when healthy, this Rams offense can be really good. I think another sneaky spot here as well, just kind of wrap up this video, is curious to see. Obviously, we already mentioned Puka Nacua, but this is going to be a very interesting receiving class as well on who else do they go and get. What other kind of diamond in the rough can they go and find in day 3 to pair Puka Nacua up with them, especially too with this tight end class? Is that going to be an area where they address and maybe see if they can improve on Tyler Higbee? Not saying he's bad, but just see if they can improve on him.
Yeah, and that actually was something that I was going to touch on. This is a really deep wide receiver class. I think you look like guys like Ty Felton, Caden Prather from Maryland.
I like
there's a lot of guys that are going to be going here on day 3 that in other wide receiver classes could be like solid day 2 picks, but there's probably 15 to 20 guys that are going to be, in my opinion, graded on that day 2 scale. But 15 to 20 guys are not going to be drafted on day 2 at the wide receiver position. There's just not, teams will not double dip, I think, at that position.
I think a guy like Ty Felton, I think would be a great compliment to Puka. I don't think people really got to see his talents at Maryland, at least in 2024. I think under Tua's brother, Talia.
Yeah, Talia.
Yeah. You got to see some of it. But this year, I think people kind of forgot about it because the quarterback play dipped.
They run such a weird offense there. Like they throw the ball like 55 plus times.
There's a reason. There's a reason why they're really bad. So
yeah. But anyways, that's a different topic for a different day. But let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of the Rams 2024 season and what do you want to see them do in the 2025 offseason. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.